This is part 2 to the grade 8 project puzzle cube design. In the previous video, we talked about the requirements of this project. We talked about how to make our tiered sketch, our orthographic sketches for each of our parts, and if you needed to, your isometric views for those. What I'm going to do today is we're going to take these orthographic sketches and I'm going to show you how I created some of my parts. I'm going to start off with my sketch button, and I'm going to choose my top plane. Again, you can choose anywhere you'd like, but because we're laying out all 6 puzzle pieces in one project file, I decided to build upwards on my top plane. I'm going to grab my line tool, and I'm going to start off by drawing a 1-inch line, 2 inches. And again, the way I'm getting these dimensions are off of my orthographic drawings. So then I have a 2-inch line, 1-inch line, 1-inch line, and I have that base of my part that we can see in my orthographic view of my part 1. I'm going to hit my cube to change my perspective on it, and I'm going to extrude this up to my second layer for my part 1 inch. I'm going to lay a new sketch on the top face of this, orientate myself. This time I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and make that 1 by 1 rectangle. I'm going to extrude upwards 2 inches because it goes into my top layer as well. So what I can see now is, looking at my sketch and looking at my orthographic sketch, I now have the basics for my part. But what I need to do next is finish that top layer. So I'm going to lay a sketch on this side here. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to do a 1-inch by 1-inch rectangle. And again, I know I received an error because I was dimensioning when the part was already solved in geometry. So they're just telling me that that can't be true based off the geometry that you set. I can delete that geometry and I can still have that part. I can then click Extrude, and I'm going to extrude that 1 inch, and I have my part 1 completed. You can then right click like we talked about, edit the appearance and change the color of the part to anything that you'd like. But what I want to do is come back to my top plane, and I want to put a new sketch down on my top plane. This allows me to start working on my second part, as we can again see in my orthographic drawing. My second part, I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and make a 1-inch by 2-inch rectangle and extrude this 2 inches. Now again, this is for my specific parts. You yourself will be going off your dimensions on your drawing. Looking at the next thing I need to do is I need to lay a sketch on this face. Grabbing my rectangle tool, I'm going to make that 1-inch by 1-inch square, and I'm going to extrude that 1 inch. Now again, if you look at my drawings, that now accounts for this part, and we can see that part here in my isometric view. What I would continue to do now in OnShape is lay down a sketch on that top plane and continue to make all 6 of my sketches. As we can see in my original file that's already completed, I've went through and made all 6 of those parts, laying them out. You would do the exact same thing.